Hey, this is Cybernetic Chaos, and today is the 13th of Night, 2017. It is 2 hours before Nintendo Direct. I've already done a prediction video, but there was another video that kind of really just needs to be done because this subject matter is like just screwing me so hard. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to get salty about this because I'm like, I just don't care because it has to be done. Right. Basically, having a lot of people screwing about the fact that like NBA 2K has some of the game on the cartridge and the other game part of the game you have to download, so you'll be missing features unless you download. Right, I'm personally pissed off about this. Right, but I'm just not going to buy it. Pretty much, I probably would have bought it if it was all on the cartridge, but some of these third-party companies are cheap assing because they want to obviously make more profit, and fair enough, business needs to make profit, but not at the cost of screwing over your brand new fans or people that have only wanted to have this kind of experience on the go, which you can only do with Nintendo Switch. Now, this really annoys me because the same thing's happening with Resident Evil, where you buy Resident Evil, or like Resident Evil Collection, and one game is on the cartridge, and the other game is is downloadable. Now, I don't know. Maybe if it's like maybe down the line when someone throws it back in secondhand, I will buy the Resident Evil 1 and sod the other bit because at the end of the day, they should have either put it on 2 cartridges, or they should have just put it on 1. Thing is, I don't know exactly the data for the Resident Evil 1. Actually, I can probably look that up right now while I'm talking to you. But my problem is the fact that I don't want to be I want my games all physical. Now, I know that gamers like me kind of a dying breed in a sense, because you've got all these people that are so used to Xbox and PlayStation, where you have these monstrous hard drives. I say monstrous, but I think the max is 2 terabyte. You have a 2 terabyte hard drive, and you download your games, and some of them are 100 gigs, some of them are 90, some of them are 50, all this sort of stuff. And I know, fair enough, because of how the Blu-rays were made, you've got the ones that start at 25, and some of them are dual later and they go up from there. But I'm one of those people that I like having a collection. Literally, I will go up and grab this so you can see. It's I've got my little Switch collection of games, and I like the fact that other than an update, these games are mine. Now, I may at some point lose their features, obviously, because they may be obviously they may be attached to an online server, so the server may go down, and then obviously I don't get that additional feature, or I don't know, or I may be stuck forever with peer-to-peer sort of service. I'm fine with that. At the end of the day, what annoys me is the fact that I want to buy a cartridge and I want to have the whole game on it. Right now, a lot of people are upset with the thing about the LA Noir with the Switch tax, and you know what? I will take the hit if as long as companies say, well, look, right, we'll charge you for the cartridge version a little bit more, but if you have the if the digital download will be cheaper, you will not be paying the cartridge cost. Fair enough. I think most people will be happy about that for support, because it appeals to both sides of the gamers. So it's the people that like their digital only and people that like their physical only. If I could, I would have I'll have a lot more indie titles on my Switch in cartridge form. I think it's Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. That would be in. I think at some point they're considering cartridge form if there's enough people asking for it, and I will be so happy to get that in cartridge form. I really like that game. I actually never got past more than the first level or 2, and it really bugged me because I'm one of those people that are it sits in the back of my head, and I always remember that there's a game that I didn't complete. Anyway, slightly off topic. Anyway, so 1 second. Let me just quickly do this now. For Yeah, sorry, I'm usually better at multitasking. I should have actually checked. So, anywho, yeah, so basically what annoys me is that I watched the video from Re-Res, and I'm gonna blast you about this because this is the wrong kind of mentality to be having. You've got a mobile console, right? Did you really think that we're going to be rolling around with terabyte hard drives? Yeah, fair enough, you did take it back after you realized that people were going to be mentioning it. It's like, you don't, like, basically, we didn't want to pay as much as we did for our Nintendo Switch. It's like only that as we bought it that we realized the value and that it is the worth of the money. But you've got, it's like, I mean, you've got shops out there that are selling it at $345 and higher. Like some of them are $350, some of them $370 for a Nintendo Switch by itself, because the console is so hard to come by. Although supposedly they're going to be upping it for Christmas, we'll see. But you're complaining because you was happy to pay an extra $350. Now, I'm not particularly rich, and it's like my missus helped me pay for my Nintendo Switch. Now, if she hadn't, I would never have got it. There's zero chance. I didn't have enough money for it. And you're telling me that I should have had to pay an extra 50 quid, and that would have just been the console as a base. No, right? I wanted my Switch, and I wanted at least to be able to buy a game. Like, one of my friends, she has no, like, sympathy for anyone who buys a console but can't afford a game until the following month. As far as she's concerned, you should have saved more. Now, I think that the £300 a month was fine. A lot of people complain because they said, "Oh, well, 1-2 Switch should have been but what is it? Not buying. It should have been a tie-in, like, console seller sort of thing. So it should have been like straight away you had that with the console." I can't remember what it's called, but yeah. Anyway, so what annoys me is the fact that, like, nobody wanted to pay more. A lot of people wanted to pay more for the Switch, and it had to be at a competitive price point. And he's saying, "Oh, well, they should have just chucked in the extra memory." The extra memory would have been more expensive. It's one of the reasons why the Switch is having such a hard time. What, do you think the higher memory is going to be cheaper and easier to get hold of? Come on, use your brain. It's like, I'm sorry, but you're seriously saying that, like, oh yeah, Nintendo, we're just going to either take a hit for, and we're just going to pay for your extra storage memory on board, or we're going to or we're going to charge you for it. And it's like, well, either way, no one's going to be happy. They pick the cheaper and the more available version. And this, you know, I mean, it's like, what? I mean, I think the new phone, the new Apple iPhone, I think that obviously the lower model uses 32. That's why they're fighting for it, and the higher model uses 64. They're going to be fighting for those too. And yeah, there's an option and there's a space for an extra module, which could have been an additional hard drive or like space. I mean, and maybe at some point you could take your Nintendo Switch down to the shop and they'll add it for you. No ifs, no buts. I mean, I don't think it's really going to use that much extra power from your console to use to dip into that. But my issue is, why should I have to? I want my I buy, like, you buy 3DS, you want most of your games in cartridge form. You got people that want to buy most of their games in digital form so they can carry them around and only have to carry that. Yeah, I can understand the convenience of it, but I want to own my games, right? Unless like a debt collector or something comes around, this is mine, right? Unless Nintendo is going to like send Nintendo Ninjas over here, this is mine. Although it would technically be Nicholas Ninjas, because it's, isn't it? Yes, well, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but with Nicholas Ninja sending it over to my house and then taking the game back, like, it's not going to happen. These games are mine. I have paid for them. They belong to me. Now, I can understand digital features. Maybe they may update features in the future with, like, you know, a little bit of additional content with some of these games, or, you know, patches and things like that. Technically, I don't own the patches and blah 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 because they're on my console, and if my console gets bricked or my console gets destroyed or stolen, they're gone. So those additional features. But as far as I'm concerned, the main game is on my Switch. On my cartridge in my Switch. And I'd much rather carry these around than then have to wait for a download. And also, another thing is, right, that I have to point out, right, and this shows how low income. Right, basically, I'm in temporary accommodation, and this is my internet right now. Right, this is a dongle. It has 64 gigs on it. Right, currently it probably has about 49 right now. Right, and this is my phone, and that has 20 gigs on it. Now I have an additional 20 gigs if I want to use my fiance's phone, which is fine. But again, right, if I'm downloading, what is it, 26 gigs or 32 gigs, say for example I'm downloading Dragon Quest, right, that's 32 gigs. That is over half my internet on my dongle. Then I don't have any stuff spare for watching the new streams for gaming. I don't have anything spare for adding my video stuff online, because I make exercise videos every day. But it's all that is just out the window because I'm downloading these games. People do not always want to rinse up their bandwidth, right? Because it's like you're saying, oh, you know, like with the PlayStation, Xbox people, oh yeah, well I have an unlimited connection. It's like, what, you sure you don't have an unlimited connection? You sure you don't get choked off at some point? That 100 gig download or that 50 gig download doesn't take ages. Yeah, some of them you got the fiber optic, some of you got like decent speed, so that doesn't really take that long. But what about the other people? And what about the next time you want to download? Say for instance, I could pretty much guarantee you download a 100 gig game, you delete that game, and then download another 100 gig game within the same day, right? Your internet service provider is going to go, meh, let's choke that bitch off. Excuse my language. And it's like, yeah, you're not going to be able to download everything that you wanted to download. And I don't think you should have to be downloading games. It's like, it should be an option. And I know in this day and age, but less people are buying computer games. More people like computer games in the digital, and less people buying them in the physical. But I'm a collector, right? I like collecting games, right? And it's like a lot of us like collecting games. A lot of us like having our collections available. I mean, I have my little Wii U collection over there. And then at some point in the near future, I'm buying a whole bunch of Wii games. Now, I know the Wii is done, kaput, out of sight. But I want to buy all the games. I want to have physical copies of all the games, because that's the person I am. Now, what annoys me is that he's already predicting failure for the Nintendo Switch next year. All right, I'm going to put it down to you like this, right? Nintendo is different now. They want to work with third parties, want to help third parties. If a third party has an issue with compressing their game onto a cartridge, right, what they're going to do is help them. It's just that simple. They're going to help them get those games down further, and then if there's any issues, they'll help them like work them out and iron them out. Right? At the end of the day, Nintendo wants to actually do well this time. I'm not saying that they didn't want to do it before, but they are making grand efforts. They're spending tons of money. They are, you know, the R&D, the like encouraging the factories to and trying to streamline services, so everything, right? Even just the other day, the Nintendo Switch app had an issue, had a lot of issues, but they started addressing them last night. Now, what, like I said, this annoys me because he's saying that next year, you know, the games only get bigger. The games are getting bigger because they're using 4K assets. Now, I don't know if you heard from what was going on with, I think it was like Forza Horizon. They were saying that like just the cars themselves, the assets were so ridiculously big that they can only put so many cars in the game, and then like it's like I find it amazing. Like you're putting like tons and tons of graphical gigabytes into assets, and not a lot of people are going to be having those like massive assets. It's like, seems like, why? It's like, this is what I'm saying. It's like the world isn't really ready for 4K. You may have your 4K TV at home, you may have your 4K streaming service at home, yes, but I don't have 4K, and I couldn't give a rat's. And I'm not saying that I'm everyone, but I'm saying a lot of people don't give a rat's about their 4K display. They're quite happy with their 1080. And that's one of the reasons why Switch is doing okay so well. It's like, because the world isn't ready for the switch over yet, pun intended, because it's the technology isn't cheap enough, right? you want to buy a 4K TV, it's in the grands or close to the grands, and that's for the lower end 4Ks, right? People are wanting TVs that take up the size of a freaking wall now, right? And that's in the 1080, and now you want them to do display for the same thing in the 4K. It's too early. I think in the grand scheme of things, Nintendo is going to work with third parties to make sure the compression works and works well. They're going to make sure that there's quite a few more. Well, I'm definitely sure that first party games are going to keep on cartridge, and they're going to notice a trend that Nintendo Switch owners really want. If it's not indies and if it's third party titles, they're going to want them on cartridge form rather than digital, because then you actually have the game. And I think, like I said, I'm not going to buy NBA 2K. I'm not going to buy FIFA because FIFA's gimped, so they can go sod off. Well, I don't even like football games, but I would have actually considered it because of it giving EA support to give more Nintendo support, and I would have gone that far. But I'm not paying for a game that's incomplete, especially at full RRP price practically. It's like, no, it can go suck a big one. Next, I would say with the NBA 2K, if I'm not getting the whole game on the cartridge, you can go sort of the same way, right? What I'm saying is that wrestling better be on par, because they said that all the features are in there, but I'm expecting all of the game to be on the freaking cartridge. If you try and pull this crap again, literally, I'm not buying any of your games, right? And I will discourage anyone else buying your games, right? Because I don't give a rat's. If you don't have your full features on the. And the thing is, what really bugs me is that they could have. See the football game we could have probably lived with it if they had downloaded the extra features. Now that sounds opposite to what I'm going for, but one feature locked on what's the name is, as opposed to multiple features, some of the game can't be played without downloading. Now, I mean, they say that every other part of FIFA is in working order, ready to go from the cartridge. And whereas it's like with NBA 2K, it's completely different. Half the game is missing, or some of the game you can only play to a certain point. Now, like I said, this is just ridiculous. It's like I don't mind paying for an additional feature and having it downloaded, and EA could have done that. And NBA could have not cheaped out and actually given the support to Nintendo Switch fans who want to play their games on the go, fully and not digitally. And they just decided not to. I mean, worst case scenario, if it was really that bad, what you could have done was speak to Nintendo and say, look, we'll push this back a month. Give us a hand, help us compress it so it fits on the cartridge, and they could have probably fit it on a cheaper cartridge than they would have wanted to pay for. Right now, I don't know, but I know compression has its drawbacks, but you could have had, I don't know. See, this is what I don't understand, right? For instance, like this. Imagine this, right? You decompress the files into a safe space on your actual Nintendo Switch onboard memory. Now, if say for instance a gig or two was allocated to storing those items temporarily, so every now and again your Nintendo Switch cartridge would update the assets are decompressed. This could be a way to get around what's going on with Rayman. This could be a way to get around what's going on with NBA, because think of it like this: if you had like 100% of the game on the cartridge, but you can only, it's compressed so hard that you'd have to have some on board. So what happens is you use a allocated space on your Nintendo Switch, and I'd be fine with that. Say 3 gigs, right, allocated to assets for exchangeable assets from the cartridge, so that you have them playable from your storage. That would have been fine. That would have been acceptable. That would be the way around this. Now, my issue with what Rio's is saying, oh, you should have done the 64 gig. Sorry, 64 meg wouldn't have got us very far. No, if you wanted the 64 gig, and it's like, why? Right? At the end of the day, we didn't want to pay extra We didn't want to pay more than 300. 300 was the sweet spot. A lot of people, like, I mean, right, the people in England got bumped. I don't give a rat's what you say, because the exchange rate for the Nintendo Switch versus America's Nintendo Switch is not pound for dollar. No way, shape and form. Like, even to this day, one sec, what's that, GBP versus pounds. Oh, sorry, GBP versus US dollar, sorry. A second. Oh yeah, by the way, about the Resident Evil Revelations thing, because I didn't actually go back to that. So altogether, it's 40. Well, say 40 gigs. Yeah. Now, did it not occur to again for Capcom to go to Nintendo and go, hey, look, can we share the cost out, or can we eat the cost for a 32 gig card and you help us with the compression? That would have been fine. And as long as you had like you know, I don't know, maybe if you only eliminated one feature, I don't know. But the thing is, I don't know how the game is separated. But the thing is, it's just freaking bollocks. 40 gigs for a game, and you only put one part of the cartridge, and you're saying it's a collection. It's not a collection because it's not on the same cartridge. You have to. You're paying for a download code. You're paying. This is where the company's like half-assing it, because they're like, oh well, we'll just give you data, like, and it's like, well, no, I want my cartridge. It's like, you should have put it on my cartridge. You should have paid for my cartridge. Then I pay you for the cartridge in the game, right? I would have lived with that, but you decided to screw me and give me half of what I wanted, and then and then you're expecting me to pay for it. Like I said, NBA, EA, Capcom. The Capcom Resident Evil. Yeah, you can all sod off because I'm not doing it. Like, I ain't paying for that. And anyway, so actually, let me just. So let me type in. Right, and this is just like it for the moment, yeah. 299. Right, I essentially should have been paying 200 and just under 30 for my Nintendo Switch, and to this day we're paying an extra 60 odd pounds over what we should be paying, right? So maybe, like, because we don't like that, we should have got at price. We should have got, because that's just pure profit going to Nintendo just for it being in a different region, which just works. And it's like, in other countries, yeah, they charge you $3.50 because of like this technology tax thing that's going on. Fair enough. That I know that sucks, but that's not Nintendo. But this is directly Nintendo charging us an extra 60 quid. It's like, if it's a $2.99 price point, why are we paying more than that? Right? It doesn't cost any extra money to ship here, right? And we're supposed to be on a better terms with places like Japan and China since the whole Brexit thing, and that is just like proving that that's bullshit. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Anyway, so yeah, on the level, this whole, we should have bit the cost. I mean, fair enough. If they'd been gone like, oh, we'll get the 64s for the UK, it's not to be harsh, but just because we're paying extra, we should get extra, right? But they decided not to, so that's, like I said, but I don't think I don't think we're in a position that, I mean, internal memory, yes, we have the whole thing with we can expand our memory with micro XD, micro XC, and I think there's another one, HC, I think it is. Yes, we can expand the memory, but again, right, why are you complaining? The memory's on there, right? If you wanted your 100 gig game, you can download it to your Switch if you really want to. I'd rather not, personally. And it's like, also, you've got to think to yourself, don't, like, this has got to work in the 720 gaming on the go mode, and it's also got to work in the 1080p at home mode, right? And you know, it's like, I don't think half those assets are going to be I mean, I don't know if they're like I know they're upscaling lower end assets to higher end assets for the graphical display that on the TV, and I just don't understand what the complaint is. At the end of the day, like, games, yes, they're going to get more and more graphically intense in the future, but so are the techniques that Nintendo is using to compress them. So what's the problem? If they have any real issues, they can always speak to NVIDIA, and NVIDIA might be able to help them do it even further, right? At the end of the day, there is a base of support so that games can be compressed to a decent amount. Okay, Rayman Legends is a proof that the compression can go too far. So there needs to be an update or something, like I explained. There needs to be this like additional space so that uncompressed assets can sit in there, or uncompressed items can sit in there, sort of thing. But like, back to the main thing, right? Why do you have to be so stuck up about this whole, oh, I had a terabyte of space on my PlayStation, I have a terabyte of space on my Xbox, maybe more, right? And it's like, oh, Nintendo Switch, like their memory space is jerky, right? At the end of the day, right now, Nintendo is hitting like hard on the indie space, right? So that memory space is a lot, right? Nintendo's first parties don't take up that much space. You can nearly have every single Nintendo first party on your hard drive space and still have a few gigs to spare. What's with the big, you know, like, it has to be bigger? Well, you have a choice. You can expand the memory. But the same thing, you have the choice with your PlayStation and Xbox. You can choose to expand the memory. You can choose to pay for expanded memory. I would be like, yeah, okay, next model, expanded memory, but we have to pay a bit extra for it. That could be understandable. Maybe the next Switch iteration, when they're doing the X2, maybe we won't even need that because the compression will be better, or the way the system works will be better. So you could do a lot more with a lot less. But at the end of the day, it's like you have to just take it off your high horse and actually start thinking about, this is gaming of the future. This is Nintendo combining their portable and home console for on the go, and for switching into different play styles and settings. Why do you have to? It's like Nintendo has never always followed the trend, and I don't think they have to now. Why? But because PlayStation and Xbox tell you that you should. It's like, this is what I'm saying. Like, PlayStation, especially more than Xbox, has given you freaking this whole spoiled mentality where you need to, like, seriously just stop and think that, you know, the world doesn't revolve around you. Nintendo's a business. They're making money for themselves. You are just one of their customers. At the end of the day, you can be replaced, right? So go suck it and go back to your PlayStation, right? Because at the end of the day, with PlayStation acting the way they are, Xbox acting the way they are, well, PlayStation more so than Xbox. Xbox is actually starting to realize, well, hey, Xbox and Nintendo Switch aren't actually, you know, enemies, I suppose. They're rivals, but they're not enemies, right? This is why the cross-platform play is going in. PlayStation is going off on this decadish one, and PlayStation is since PlayStation like really took off, is raised this snob, stuck up, really just like non-thinking customers who are like, oh, everything should be downloaded to my hard drive. Yeah, but what happens when your hard drive gets messed up? Yeah, you may have it saved to the cloud. Some, like, your save data saved to the cloud, but your save game ain't saved to the cloud, is it? It's stuck on the hard drive, right? Some people don't want to sit around and wait for downloads and installs and everything else, right? Nintendo Switch install, 2 minutes, done. A new game install, 2 minutes, done. Right? You get your disc and you plug it into your console. Right? You've got to wait 2 hours or 3 hours for your game to install. When you have a disc, it should run off the damn disc. Right? I want my cartridge and I want my game on my cartridge. Right? I want it because it runs faster. I want it because it means it's mine. I want it because I'm a collector. At the end of the day, right, fair enough, that's your opinion, right? But the thing is, it's not the opinion of everyone, right? I represent the other side of gamers, the ones that think to themselves, well, you know what, I have a game, I've got it, I can play it anytime I want, right? With the way you're going, we're heading towards that. Like, we're basically with gamers with your own kind of mentality, we're heading towards those games where everything has to be online at all times, right? And it's like, as much as you're trying to say that, oh yeah, you don't believe in that, but your actions don't portray that. Your actions actually make it so that it's going to be, at the end of the day, more gamers are going to, like, with that mentality, it's going to mean that, hey, well, at the end of the day, we're Sony, we're Xbox, we can do whatever fudge we like, and we're going to make it so all your games are online because you're at home. So you should have an internet connection. If you want to play and have all these additional features, you need to be online. And there won't be dick you can do about it. And it's like, whereas Nintendo's like, hey, well, yes, we have an online game, but you can play it on your mobile phone if you want to, when you're outside. I have done this. I've actually done this on the DLR, right? I've done this on trains, on the move, while playing Splatoon. I think I only disconnected once or twice, and that's on the go. Like, that's on a 16-minute train ride, and I disconnected twice from 2-3 minute games on Splatoon. So at the end of the day, like, you're not going to be able to doing that with Xbox. And even the new PlayStation handheld, I don't think you're going to be able to be doing that, because at the end of the day, they're going to require a lot higher connection than a lot of the games on Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch has hit a market that where it's like, oh, I can roll with my phone. I can, if I'm chilling at my friend's house and I need an internet connection, my phone is there, and it won't eat up my data. It won't do nothing. All right. I've played. It's like, funny enough, I play all my Splatoon matches on my mobile phone. Something to do with the connectivity with my dongle, and I've had no issues. Right? You can't do that with PlayStation. You can't do that with Xbox. I mean, you can. You can. But good luck with your bandwidth, and good luck with those updates. Those updates are going to kill your phone data unless you have like something over 20 gigs, and most people don't. Well, at least in England we don't. I don't know. You may have something better in America. You may have something better in Japan. You may have free internet where you can just everything everywhere. But here you're stuck with limits. And Nintendo Switch is working in a limited region, at a price point that a lot of people respect, in a way that a lot of people are enjoying because it gives them a lot more freedom, right? Again, there are gamers that like digital, there's gamers that like physical, and I don't want you to encourage people to belittle either side, right? I'm fine with you downloading your game. I'm happy with you downloading your game. That's for you, right? I'm even happy that you pay £10 less. That's good on you. You do you. But I own my game. Like, my game is mine, right? My game doesn't belong to an SD card. My game doesn't belong to my Nintendo Switch onboard memory, right? Maybe some of the additional features, yeah, I can live with that a little bit, right? To an extent. I don't want half my game trapped on there though. And it's like, this is why I'm waiting for physical releases. As soon as more indie games start doing physical releases, oh, well, chuck it on a 4 gig cartridge, chuck it on a 4 gig cartridge. Trust me, I'm going to be on it. And the thing is, yeah, it's saying digital sales are through the roof. They're more than all the other consoles combined. But I would like, if it comes up on the cartridge, I want my cartridge. Sorry, that's the only game I've got. I do have like Bomb Man and all sorts of other games. But yeah, like I said, I'm quite happy to pay the Switch tax as long as I get my game on a cartridge. I'm not paying Switch tax. It's like, it's bad that we shouldn't even have to have Switch tax, but until everyone starts paying for that and that media becomes more popular, there's not much we can do. Anyway, right, I've made my point. I'm going over and over and round in circles, and I'm done. Right, this is Cybernetic Chaos, causing chaos across the interwebs, and I will catch you later.